If you had the pleasure of watching Bonanza, then you met the original gentle giant, Eric Cartwright, or as we knew him best, Hoss. And the man who filled these shoes, literally and figuratively, was Dan Blocker. Everything about him was a contradiction. His size made him a popular athlete, but he always concentrated first on his studies. Blocker was a true country boy who wound up under the Hollywood limelight. And this towering softie, once so full of life, also made Bonanza a first for a TV show addressing the death of a cast member. I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick, taking a closer look at one of TV's most beloved actors and his journey from student to military hero and of course to Ponderosa royalty. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a Hoss-sized thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you catch our next deep dive. But without further ado, let's wrangle up some facts about Dan Blocker.
See if you like it.
It's real good.
A record setter. The little bundle of joy was born on December 10th, 1928, only there was nothing little about him. The son of Ora and Mary Blocker weighed a whopping 14 pounds at birth. No surprise, that was the largest baby on record born in Bowie County, Texas. And Dan's large size would define his life from that day forth. When he was in grade school, he stood above all his classmates at a solid 5 feet, weighing in at over 100 pounds. By the time he was 10, labor laws were shifting course, but Dan still found himself working construction gigs and with grain elevators. The Great Depression hit his family hard, so this was his contribution. When his family saved enough to open a grocery store, Dan helped out by bringing groceries to people's cars. And jump ahead 2 years, he reached 6 feet, 200 pounds. At 13 years old, Dan was considered something of a landmark where he lived in O'Donnell. And this was celebrated by this teenager wrestling adults, complete with his own roped-off part of Main Street to see who would come out as champion. And this teenager, against guys in their 20s, Dan won every round. By high school, he reached his maximum height of 6 feet 4 and wore a 14.5 sized shoe. You did not want him stepping on your feet when dancing. But with his bare size came some Herculean myths too, like how he once lifted a car off a man when it slipped off its jack. That sounds more like a Hoss plot. Bronze and brains. This dude had it all. His mind was as strong as his body and he exercised both. At 13, he was a linebacker for the Texas Military Institute, earning a scholarship to attend Sul Ross State University. And of course he played football there, but he's remembered for having his nose in a book, studying English. And one fateful day lit a path for Dan to follow all the way to Ponderosa Ranch.
I don't understand.
You got a lot of understanding to pick up on, Phineas. Take a look at that.
The drama club was putting on a production of Arsenic and Old Lace, and they needed a stagehand who could haul fake dead bodies from the cellar. This job turned into playing the role of Teddy Brewster, the nephew to the lead characters. The stage, audience, lights, and costumes. Well, it was more than enough to give him the theater bug. Bad. Sometimes he butted heads with one of the crew members, a woman named Dolphia Parker. But he had a bit of a crush on her and was on his best behavior. In return, she fueled his interest in acting to great effect, and Dan switched gears completely, now studying theater until this small-town Texan went east with dreams of Broadway. A man of duty. Before joining the Cartwrights, Dan already had a sense of duty in everything he did. He began acting in summer stock productions until his 1950 Broadway debut in King Lear, just in time to get drafted into the Army. He made the journey to the Pacific and served in the Korean War. Dan Blocker served with distinction, and his efforts earned him a Purple Heart, the rank of sergeant, and more medals. Finally back stateside, he married Dolphia Parker, his theater friend from college, just 2 days after he was discharged. They were quite the couple, combined with her upbringing on an Oklahoma ranch. It wasn't the smoothest start at first. Dan taught English and drama, but he wanted to get his PhD. Remember, he is quite the intelligent fella under all those muscles. But teaching wasn't paying the bills, and Dan's family was growing. At the same time, the Western genre was continuing to pick up steam. and Dan saw an opportunity. He began landing some roles, usually as a ranch hand. Blocker was discovered while chatting in a phone booth wearing a full cowboy getup. He worked on Gunsmoke along with The Rifleman and Maverick. Any kindness we can show, let us do it now. He was designed to be the ultimate gentle giant, large and naive with a heart of gold. Dan wouldn't fall for jokes like Hoss did, but he was a fast friend and easy favorite for everyone watching the show, as well as those who worked on it. He became great friends with Lorne Greene, and was even his little brother's best man when Michael Landon married Lynn No. And we have an entire video about the ups and downs of Landon's turbulent life, so check that one out next. Producer David Dortort said out of everyone, Dan gave him the least amount of trouble over the years. Blocker's been called, quote, the least actorish as well as the most likable. It makes sense because when Dan acted, he would do so with a quote of a Quaker missionary in his head. Reading, quote, we shall pass this way on earth but once. If there is any kindness we can show or good act we can do, let us do it now, for we will never pass this way again. Maybe we should all be a little more like Dan Blocker.
Yep, I reckon you're right at that too.
Time of his life. Bonanza ate up a lot of Dan's time. You've heard of 9 to 5, well his schedule was 7 to 9. 5 days a week, so he had to shelve his PhD plans to keep up. There was only time for acting gigs, like Come Blow Your Horn and Lady in Cement. On top of that, he was always trying to be the best husband and father. He had 4 kids, Deborah, Dana, David, and Dirk. I'm noticing a naming theme here, doggone it. His family always stayed close. Dan at heart was a big kid, playfully jostling his children so he could mess with an electric race car track. And those hours of filming did mean they had piles of cash. He earned money from merchandise, the Bonanza salary, royalties, and his steakhouses. So his family was set up comfortably in a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home 20 miles from Paramount Studios. When his kids visited, they got a taste for the acting life. And both David and Dirk would follow Dad into the biz. But Hoss didn't love every part of the job. What privacy? Blocker loved acting, but he did not love stardom. He learned, quote, a man never appreciates his privacy until he's lost it. And it bugs me, it really bugs me. I try to keep the family normal, unaffected by father's so-called celebrity. It's a losing battle. But boy did his fans love the giant teddy bear of a man. Although sometimes it went too far. Dan was disturbed when people ran up and poked and pulled at him.
Get gone! I'm sure getting tired. How about you?
Anything but routine. Dan's weight climbed into the 300s, so he had to eat very carefully. He said he was always hungry from having to eat, quote, like a normal guy.
What for breakfast?
For you, half a cow.
One day, as a treat, for breakfast he had 12 eggs, 2 loaves of bread, and 2 quarts of milk. Yummy! But there were also other health problems lying dormant in that towering body. On May 13, 1972, Dan Blocker went in for gallbladder surgery. It's routine and people can go home the same day. The surgery went smoothly, but then Dan had trouble breathing. A blood clot formed on his lung, and before doctors could do anything, Dan Blocker, the biggest, kindest man in Hollywood, died from heart failure at just 43 years old. It's over. Bonanza dealt with cast members leaving before, and you can learn more about that in our Cast Then and Now video, but this was very different. Hoss had been called the heart of Bonanza. They would have never gotten rid of his character and there was no replacing him. So they did what no other show had done before. They confronted his death and had Hoss die too. The gentle giant with a heart of gold died while saving a woman from drowning. Nothing proved Hoss to be the beating heart more than his passing. When the cast came back without Dan, Michael Landon said they stayed out of the dining room where the cast would joke around most with him. No one had the heart for jokes anymore. Lorne Greene saw the writing on the wall saying, quote, after Dan's death, I didn't see how the show could continue. I said to my wife, that's it, it's finished. And it was. Ratings declined and the Ponderosa Ranch closed after the 14th season. But only a titan like Dan Blocker could have made television history with just the memories and love he left behind. It's no surprise that when the cast filmed an emotional scene without Dan, the director yelled, "Cut!" and the actors kept right on crying, and so did most of the crew. Carrying on.
You fellas gonna just sit here and mope all day, or you gonna go out and go to work with me?
If there's one universal fact about Dan Blocker, it's that he's so universally loved. In his personal life, he helped those in need, asking only that people didn't tell he was involved. He never asked for fame, only to make ends meet. But he enjoyed acting nonetheless. On set, he struck up lasting friendships, and as a family man, he doted on his loved ones. Now his children keep his memory alive in their own work. Dirk Blocker is an actor who was mind-numbingly thick and very funny on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And David is an Emmy-winning producer responsible for Don King, Only in America. So check them out. They're active on social media and frequently post memories from their giant of a father on Ponderosa Ranch. Blocker had a personality that was larger than life, and a presence that overflowed even his towering frame. So let's toast to Hoss. What was your favorite Hoss moment from Bonanza? What surprised you the most from this video? Have you seen Dirk as Detective Hitchcock and thought, hey, that guy reminds me of someone very special? Get in the comments and let us know. It's comforting to learn that sometimes the characters we love and the actors who play them are pretty similar. If you enjoyed the deep dive, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you can catch our next ride down memory lane. But from all of us here at Do You Remember, we want to thank you for watching.